Hey nerds, it's Ashley, and I celebrate all the holidays. And over to my right, Sierra.
Hello.
Woo! And she celebrates diversity and inclusion. And over to my right, other more right, Dylan.
Hello.
And he celebrates jumping jacks. Every day he celebrates that. And now you're listening to That's Not Good. Ugh. It's thumbs up because we already know what we're doing and now we have to do it. Tell me why this doesn't feel like the first episode. Because this is different. I don't know if you can tell because you're seeing me and that's different and new. What are we doing here? That's Not Good. The normal podcast that you've grown to love, that you're downloading. And we're celebrating our 50th episode, which is, do you even know what we're doing?
No.
Do you even know what's happening? How we got here? And how I said, like, as a funny joke on my couch, if I give you wine, will you make a podcast with me? And then you're like, yeah. And now we're doing it. Almost a year later, 50th episode. This is going to be an extravaganza. Almost bigger than the show. That was my wedding.
Which is the anniversary of...
Which also the anniversary of my wedding, which is wild. A whole year we did it. Congratulations. Sierra, is there anything you want to talk about?
Hey, guys. Hi, everyone. I'm here with Ashley.
You can see us.
You can see us, which is a little weird. Maybe you can see us. Maybe you're still listening old school.
Old school, and we love that.
We don't judge
through
you.
Through the wires.
But
it's all good, but it's not good, which is why we're here. And we'll tell you more about that in just a minute.
Absolutely, we will. That was great. Thank you so much. Dylan, is there anything you want to talk about?
Not in particular. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited that everyone can see us.
Yes.
It's a long time coming. It
is.
In my opinion.
It is. It is a long time coming.
Where are we?
Where the heck are we?
You can curse here.
Fucking where? I'm gonna tell you where we are. This is I still am like in real shock, and we're doing it right now, but I can't like process what's happening. So stick with me. We, Sierra, are at the space. Yes, you heard it. You said where? The space. What? We are the first podcast ever to record in this beautiful, glammed up, gorgeous, and warm, welcoming, beautiful podcast studio. Who's making it happen? I'm gonna tell you. Mark Chinook. He's our greatest. We love him so much. And that is with Martian Entertainment. They are putting this together. They're allowing us to be in the space at the space, recording this beautiful audiovisual medium, which is weird because we're normally audio.
Only.
And we have the beautiful, awesome Andrew Kirkhan. Thank you so much. Woo! Everyone get a He is our video technical director. And we are so appreciative of everything that you're doing and allowing us to be here and just being the absolute best. What a dream to work with. I can't stop. A literal dream. Like an actual dream. I feel like this isn't real, and I'm gonna switch to being in outer space in a second, and that will be normal. Sierra Nagel. What? Stop you.
I put that on there. But only because I was like, well, why are we here? You know? Like,
why are we here?
To make it make sense to you.
Right. To understand you. But also, like, this truly would not be possible without you putting this all together. Obviously, Sierra is kicking ass. We talk about it all the time, how she's our silent talking producer.
Oh, wait. Do we want to share that news?
Yes. But no, really, she is our production, and she is the reason why we're here. Obviously, Dylan, production, reason why we're here. I don't know any of this. I just go kiki, read my book, and that's pretty much it for that. So thank you, every single person, so much. Again, Mark Chinook, Andrew Kirkhan, Sierra Nagel. I had to read that off the paper. The Space, Las Vegas. Follow them on Instagram. That's how you know this is a really real thing that we're doing. Follow them on Instagram. Go book your next event. Tell your friends to get your podcast in here. Okay. What are we going to do today?
What are we going to do today? It's number 50.
You probably listening saying I was going to be a normal schmormal episode. It's just not going to be a normal schmormal because I have a special, exclusive guest you think is probably not a real person. And that is Jordan, my husband, partner, boyfriend. Yes. Woo!
Yes.
Oh, we're standing and clapping?
Give it up for Jordan, everybody.
We're going to sit back down because you can't see
That
us.
was really crazy. Wow. Okay, so this is Jordan's first podcast. He's a real human being.
Yes.
That's super exciting news. Is there anything you want to talk about? Oh, wait. No, stop. Immediately, everyone stop. Over to my right, Jordan. And he celebrates hats in a way that I can't express to you. We don't leave without a hat. And I love it, and it's special. Hi, is there anything you want to talk about?
I'm very proud of everybody here.
Aww.
Literally the entire crew. I know I just get talked about, but I do exist. I'm real. And I'm happy about everything. I'm grateful for all that you guys have done.
Oh, you're a little sweetie pie. Thanks. I love you so much. Thanks for doing this. If you also can't tell, this isn't something we normally have Jordan do. First episode, so we're just going to show all the love by rating our podcast on Instagram or Apple Podcast. 5 stars only with reviews.
5 stars only.
That are
It would
nice.
mean a lot to Jordan.
It would mean so much to Jordan.
Who you
Don't
just
break
met.
his heart.
Look at him. Look at that face.
I'm so sad.
Because you're not doing it fast enough. Well, again, thank you so much for coming on. He's not really a murder guy. I'm going to bring up this anecdote. You don't have to say anything, but I'm going to embarrass you for 2 seconds. We were watching a show called You, because everyone in the world was like, you have to watch a show, you have to watch a show. So I did. Do I love it? No. Because it's glorifying a stalker, and that's bad. But I'm watching all of it really fast, and at one point, there was a scary scene happening, and Jordan was sitting with us, and he was like having so much like visceral reaction to what was going on, and he had to stand up and walk away. He's like, they're gonna shoot him in the head. They're gonna shoot him in the head, and he could not handle it. So,
No more you.
no more you.
No more you for me.
No more you for me. I watch my scariest shows by myself. Which is, kind
That
of...
makes it scarier.
Yeah.
That makes it scarier. I'm going to let you guys go in 2 seconds. But before we do that, this is like the real kind of, not the real reason, but what we're going to be talking about today. So I'm going to do that, and then we're going to get, I'm sorry, did you say we're going to get more guests? Some of your favorites? Some of the heavy hitters. They're going to be coming on and talking with us because this is a crazy 50th episode. We're talking Zodiac. What? Why? You guys, I know. I read this book so quick. So this is going to be like the that's not good version of what we've always been doing because we're living on the edge at this point, which is fun. It's super fun. Anyways, you want to go?
I'm going to go.
Okay. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for being here. Fun. Thank you. Woo!
No, you.
I'm going to stay.
All right.
I love that. Hey! Nerds. It's Ashley. We're back. And who's with us is Emma! Woo! I'm so happy you're here.
I'm so happy to be here.
Oh, wait. And over to my right, Emma. And she celebrates corn dogs. Just kidding, she's vegetarian.
Veggie dogs. Veggie corn
veggie
dogs.
corn dogs. Veggie dogs. So that's really good. We love that. Well, are you excited?
Beyond excited.
Me too.
Thrilled to be here.
Thank you so much for existing in this space with us.
Thanks for letting me be a part of this. I can't believe, I don't know, this is all just so
I can't
incredible.
believe either. I super can't believe it either. As a little funny little thing, I made Sarah, why are you so cute right now? I made little shirts for everybody. And so, Sierra, did you want to talk about your shirt?
I want to talk about my shirt. I've been waiting to talk about my shirt. This is so funny that she did this. So there's shirts that say quotes from us from the podcast, and mine says, silent producer, i.e. talking producer, episode 42.
Yay! I love it.
I also got a shirt. It says, they can basically cook the piece of skin. I was referring to cauterization. I don't remember the context, but important to say.
I do remember the context. Should I share it?
Please.
It was in episode 34, obviously, when we were talking. This isn't funny at all. We were talking about branding in Nexium, and so they were using a cauterizing pen.
That's right. And we were like, what even is a...
And you were upset.
Yeah.
Because you're like, that's not what that's used for. It's for a little tiny piece of bleeding out skin. So that's a little funny thing I put on a shirt.
We love them.
So Sierra, thank you.
Thank you, Ashley. Thank you for doing this with me.
Sierra's gonna go fulfill her obligation as silent producer. We're not kicking her out. We just love you so much. It's time
You'll
to
see me
transition.
again.
So now we're doing that. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Which, please come in. Get in here. I'm so excited.
Me too.
Because this is the craziest thing we've ever done. Have you ever been in front of cameras like this before in your life?
No, I feel like I'm on a talk show.
I know, we are on a, this is our morning. And how do you feel about that?
Well, I feel a certain way because of my background. But
yes.
others may feel a different way because of their background.
And when I heard your background, I said, wow, that would really come into play for her.
Yeah, absolutely.
Background.
And that would impact a point of view.
Well, I think it's time to really fill out our chairs so we can get talking about ye old murder.
Let's do it.
So we are going to welcome on the cutest, as we all are here, the cutest Efren.
Hi, everyone.
I love that. Make a grand tour.
Thank you for inviting me. Wow.
Thank you for
This
coming.
feels awesome.
Isn't this the weirdest thing? Okay, so if you guys don't remember, which you should, Efren was on episode 45 and more. And if you can't also see, that's his shirt. Do you want to talk about it?
Yeah, so can you read it? I can't read upside down.
Yes, I was making sure that I could scream, and I can't, so make me scream. And if you don't know what that's from, you should listen to that episode. Yeah. Go back, download. It's so funny. Thank you so much. Oh, and over to my right, Efren, and he celebrates growth. So, is there anything that you guys want to talk about? Emma, you go first. Is there while you're drinking? Is there anything that you want to talk about?
No. Well, actually, yes. It's small, but there was a fabulous cake that was brought by one of the upcoming guests. And I won't say any more because you should go on Instagram and follow us and see this magnificent piece of work. It is so beautiful. So that's really all I have to say. You got to go check it out.
Thank you for plugging me. Thank you so much, plugging us, because this would not, literally, we would not be doing this if it wasn't for all of my friends giving their time, energy, their life souls to, coming to record these podcasts with me, and then also just doing anything. I'm just so happy and grateful. Thank you.
Thank you.
For real.
We're
Is there
having
anything?
a blast. So, thank you.
Fran, is there anything you want to talk about? It's okay if you don't. We can talk about murder. If
No,
that's what
I'm
you want.
excited. I'm excited to talk about the Zodiac killer.
Okay, yeah. Do you guys know anything about what it is?
Not really.
That's why I sat
That's
down.
actually why I volunteered to be on this episode. Normally, I would not care about the whole 50th episode at all. I just really needed to get educated on this, and there was no other way.
I knew that. I felt that in my heart. I'm taking a sip.
I just know Zodiacs is like a tropic, like a Sagittarius and like a
Okay.
Aquarius.
Okay.
I know that. You're on. Is that a thing? Yeah.
It is, yes. Okay, so actually, this is a great time to talk about that. I'm glad you said that. Have Dylan. He's here, but you can't see him as a ghost.
Hello.
Dylan's here. Hey, have you seen the movie Dirty Harry?
Yes.
Do you know what that is?
Yes.
Okay, so have you guys seen Dirty Harry? Obviously Emma has not because we are the same person. We don't watch movies.
I've never heard of a Dirty Harry.
Okay, Dirty Harry. So basically, I've never heard of a Dirty Harry. That's a drink. Can it be a drink that we make up? A Dirty Harry?
A Dirty Harry.
That sounds good, like a shot, an
Does it
individual
sound
shot.
A
Yeah.
dirty hair?
Yeah, like a slippery nip.
A slippery nip sounds a lot better. Okay.
Okay, we're getting to the weed of things.
Okay, no, but for real, Dirty Harry was a movie, and they based it pretty much entirely over what Zodiac was doing, but it's like a fiction adaptation. But it's like the same you know?
Correct.
Thank you, Dylan, aka God, right now, because it's a little disarming to have you come through the speaker like that. But I'm glad you are there. So let's get into it. I wrote some notes, so I'm going to start it on my computer. You've never seen me do this before, have you? Actually, you have. Because on a bonus episode, I only read from my computer.
I was going to say, no, you're right. You're right.
Thank you. I try. So what are we reading and who is it by? I have a special secret conspiracy theory that I'm going to share with you at the end of this episode. So stay tuned. But we are reading Zodiac, the shocking true story of the hunt for the nation's most elusive serial killer by Robert Graysmith. Boom. Wild. This is directly from Goodreads, so I'm going to read it from Goodreads. Quotations, here you go. Robert Graysmith, the New York Times bestselling author and illustrator of Zodiac, Autofocus, and Blackfire. He was the political cartoonist for the San Francisco Chronicle when the letters and the cryptograms from the infamous Zodiac killer were opened in the morning editorial meetings. He lives in San Francisco. Have you ever been to San Francisco? Cool.
Yeah, once as a child.
Whew. San Francisco, where he continues to write and illustrate. First of all, my whole butt is out. Can you see my butt? Don't look at it. I'm covering it up. My whole butt is literally out.
Yeah, God.
Just give us a chance.
So here's the deal. I preface this. I read this very quickly, and I stopped reading probably around like the last couple of chapters because I wasn't caring anymore, and my brain was starting to melt, and for self-care purposes, I needed to put it down and wrap some presents because that was really higher priority than reading this.
She got us all presents. She is the sweetest and most wonderful.
Stop, don't, you're so cute, I love you. Look at that. So while I was doing the reading and the researching, I realized this sucks. And my
book?
No, actually it was fine to read.
Oh, okay.
It sucks because it's gruesome.
Yeah.
And I when I hear little things about it, it just feels like less sad. I know that sounds bad, but just was sad to read. Okay, they're all sad, but shall I? David Faraway and Betty Lou Jensen. So this was their first date that they were ever going to have together. They're in high school. They go to the same high school. And it's very close to their town. There's like a whole map situation. We're going to have to get into it. It's December 20th, 1968. So this is a long time ago, in case anyone cares.
Francisco?
This actually is in Vallejo, California. I don't know if you're familiar with Northern
California still? Okay.
Yes, it is still Northern California, and it's pretty close to San Francisco, but they're not the same area. So David picked up Betty Lou and they head to their friend's house at first. They're like kind of going out on a date. I think they leave around 11. That's wrong. Hit you with this. Oh, in real time it hurts. What if that's how you took a test in school? You were in your own.
Immediately now.
You were in your own private cubicle, and every time you got a question wrong, it just hurt you. It did that. That'd be so scary. Yeah.
Next
okay.
level.
That's a movie. So they go around 8:00. He picks her up at the house, and they go to a friend's house for a little bit, and they're like hanging out, and then they decide they're gonna go get a little Coke at Mr. Eddie's, and that's very cute. So they get their little treat, and then they
Coca-Cola?
Oh yeah, not the goods, but
because we're
the
way
Coke.
back in the.
We're in 68, so there's probably
68,
yeah. There's not cocaine in it still. We don't have to talk about that right now. So they are headed there, and she's supposed to be home by 11, which is what I had kind of said earlier, which is like, you know, you gotta have a curfew. I never had one, but respect to parents that do that. Not growing in the Las Vegas children. So after getting their Coke, they head down to Brian. Nope, immediately wrong. Again, awesome. David's favorite spot, which is on Lake Herman Road. And as they're getting there, it's about 22 degrees outside. It's fucking cold. It's December in California. So it's like cold up in northern, right? And they have the heat on in the car. It's about 10:15 when they pull up. A couple of different this is like a spot that people go to, you know, not just children, but like young adults where they probably don't have somewhere to like, you know, you know.
Yeah.
So they go to the little spots,
Yeah.
and they're gonna fuck. Let's be honest
Great.
with ourselves. So they are hanging out, and there's multiple people that are kind of passing by and seeing their specific car, the make and model and all that. And they pulled off about 10 feet off of the road to where they were. At this point in the night, there are people that are raccoon hunting. So there's that is happening as like a job.
Okay.
Yeah. Normal. And then there's other people that are like going to hook up. Right, that are seeing them, but they're in their own little area. Yeah, they're in their. That's normal. So they're in their own little area. Excuse me, I have to. Nope, it's stuck. Okay. Then all of our worst nightmares is happening now. Starting to go. Another car pulls up right beside them. So they're parked like this is the front, this is their back. The other car pulls up really close to them on this side. So the bumper of this car is touching or like direct parallel to the front of that car. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
So you're not window to window. Oh my God. I'm scared.
Scary stuff.
So they're not window to window, and this person that they can't really tell who it is. It's very dark in the woods, right where they are. He gets out and demands that they get out on the opposite side of the car. So he's facing the driver's side, and he tells them to get out where he's not at from the right side.
And what authority does he have?
He pulls out a gun.
Oh.
So that makes them want to do that.
Yep.
But they actually don't. They're really scared, and so they don't move right away. But then he shoots through the left side of the car, through the window, and then shoots again into the car. So Betty Lou is like, me?
Getting out of here.
And she leaves the car, and he's kind of hurting them in a way, it feels like, to exit the way that he wants. And as David is trying to leave the car, he gets shot in the, like, face, head area.
Jeez.
Yeah, I know. Isn't that so fucking scary? Whew, okay.
But Betty survives.
Well, he's alive still.
Wait.
It basically exploded his head because it was really close range.
Yeah.
But it's a .22, so the bullet's pretty small, and it doesn't exit the other side of his head. It just breaks a bunch of stuff about what's going on in here.
Whoa.
Yeah. Betty then runs because she's like, oh, the guns.
Yeah.
You just killed him.
Get the fuck
so I'm
out of
probably
there.
going to run now. So she's running towards the road and is about 28 feet away from the car, completely like pitch black outside. He shoots her 5 times in the back, kind of in like a crescent going up, and kills her. And so she's like facing down into the car. Yeah. So scary.
Terrifying.
Yep. There's a bunch of theories about this because they make it out to seem like he's like the most expert marksman that could ever be.
Right, because that's a far shot.
Yeah, with a 22.
With the 22, yeah.
Right? I'm learning more about guns every day that I'm on here. And so I know for a fact 22 is the smallest one. It's like almost a BB gun.
Yeah.
Like it's so tiny. So cool. That's not cool. That's bad. Betty Lou is pronounced dead at the scene, but David is still alive and breathing, even though it's probably like when you go to a class, when you are in charge of anyone, like in school, you have to listen to sounds that are abnormal so that you can learn what they sound like. For instance, if you have a punctured lung, they make you listen to audio of someone who has a punctured lung so you can get familiar with how that would sound like if you have to put your, listening skills on. They do the same thing for like the breath that you take like at the end of your life. It's called a rattle or a death breath. You've heard of this?
Death rattle, yeah.
Death rattle. So when you're like dying, like your kind of last jagged breath of life can sound really, really intense. So they make you listen to those things like before you go do taking care of humans. The reason I say that is because that's probably he didn't sound great because most of his head is all jello now. Excuse me. Upon arriving to the hospital, he is then pronounced dead. So there is no witnesses to this other than them specifically. There's like audio witnesses, so people that heard. Excuse me. Oh my God. Am I okay? I just touched the microphone. There was people around that kind of corroborated the time, and people that had been passing by seeing them. They all made statements, so they could place the car and the time. And the craziest thing is, this keeps happening with what they suspect the Zodiac killer's murders are, where like things happen where other people are around, but no one sees that person, and then the killer, right? They don't see him ever, but they like know all of this is happening, and then almost right away, like people are found. Like there isn't a lot of time. Anyways, yeah, we'll get more into it because his pattern is very interesting. If they're all the same person, which we don't know if that's true or not. They did end up getting fingerprints from the scene. They got the shell casings from the 22. They had shoe prints from the actual like killer that was walking around. They had recovered bullets from inside David's skull. They had that one, and then there was a couple loose ones that they found that had gone all the way through Betty. Yeah. Want to know a fun fact?
Of course.
Perforated means that a bullet has gone all the way through you, but punctured means that the bullet goes in, it doesn't come all the way out.
I guess that makes sense, right?
I know, but you don't normally
But
put that
no,
to gun wounds,
yeah.
right?
No.
I know,
No,
I thought that was so
that's new to
crazy.
me.
I don't know, that's what this guy said, so maybe Gray Smith is a liar, but that's what it says in the book. Every single person that was in contact with either of these people were fully vetted. Like the police were interrogating all their family and friends, anybody they had seen that day. Unfortunately, they also kind of rounded up other, like, they just said local suspects, so I'm assuming that's anyone with a criminal record or a violent criminal record they were interviewing. I'm assuming that's what that means. And then they also mentioned in the book that there was a mental hospital, Napa State Hospital, that was closed by and it had 290 patients. So the way it's framed is that they interviewed all of those people as well.
Interesting. Okay.
But that nothing is coming from this. Information. Also, eyewitness accounts of the car that they had seen kind of pulling up and pulling away. This guy has he's not in a rush. So he's not like, that's me driving a car, speeding out of or like away. He's just very calm, collected. I'm saying he, but everyone thinks something different at this point, right? So Betty's parents, hold on one second. No, that's not true. Okay, at this point, there was some talk that Betty Lou had been feeling uncomfortable leading up to her murder, and that she had kind of told her sister that she felt like someone might have been watching her. Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And like the side gate of their house was like randomly left open when there was like no reason for that to be the case. And she just was not feeling good. And then
it could be a fluke, but
it
in
could.
those moments it's like you think it's a fluke. Nope, it was a murder.
I know, right?
Trust
the
your
one
gut.
time you don't think it's gonna happen, someone stabs
Well,
you.
and they're going they're going deep into these people's like lives,
Really
and so
trying to
like
figure
normal,
out.
I can be sassy. And so if a horrible unexplained accident happens and I was like a super cunt 5 minutes ago, you know what I mean? Like, not that I would do anything, but like I could
Now
potentially
you're-
ever look bad because you're taking something out of context and then associating it with a murder. So I don't know, but there was a guy at school that was super in love with Betty, and he like confronted David at one point at school and was like, I'm gonna slit your throat, basically.
Whoa.
Yeah. So they don't know. Nothing ever came of
But
it.
also middle schoolers are dramatic. I mean,
I
obviously
mean, this
it's
is high
not-
school, but yeah.
High school, yeah. I mean, it's not appropriate behavior, but also
It's
gives
just
me some
intense. And then you're freaking, the person that you're fighting over gets murdered, like, and you really don't have anything to do with it, but it looks sus
that looks
as
really
fuck.
bad. Yeah.
Yeah. So that is the first like confirmed Zodiac murder that happens. Have you ever heard any of that before?
No.
Isn't that
News to me.
so freaking wild?
That is
I know.
terrifying.
Okay. I'm here, but I'm talking to the gods. We are, because I have another set. Should I do one?
You can keep going with these
I'm gonna
guys.
do one more.
Can I say something while
Please.
we're in the middle of? Should I be looking at the red? Because it moves a lot and it stresses me out. I don't know if I'm supposed to be always looking
Red
at the
or
red.
center?
Or Ashley. I mean,
Okay. Does it look weird when I'm like trying to follow the? No.
I haven't even noticed that you
Okay.
are.
Okay,
Great.
were you setting?
So everything's beautiful
Okay, sorry.
and nothing.
You're all good.
Great.
Everything looks good on my end. Efren, can you talk for a sec?
Hello? I'm talking.
Okay, you're good.
Thank you.
So, that was crazy, right? That's a really intense one. I'm going to do the next situation that we have to talk about. So, unfortunately, you're sticking around for one more murder. This one's interesting. So, you're here for a good part, in my opinion.
I'm ready.
And it's a sad one. Okay, here we go. They're all fucking sad. Darlene Farron. That's who we're talking about. That's who is what we're saying. December 21st, 1968. So this is not super long after. Oh, that was silly. Can I delete that? December 21st, 1968. This is right after Betty and David they're murdered, right? So Darlene works at a restaurant that's in this same Vallejo, California area. So she technically knew them. Like, she had seen them a couple of times. They had gone to the same high school at some point, but she was 21, 22 when this happens, and they were still in high school. So she just had gone to the same high school as them and kind of felt like she knew them, and also had been up to this spot like a fucking shit ton, because that's where everybody goes to like fuck
Everyone
around.
knows
You know, you
that's
go
where
drink
you
beer
make
up
out.
there, you
Yeah.
you smoke your weed
I've
up
been
there.
there.
Thank you. I knew that. That's what I said. So you might have actually been there at one point. You just don't know. You would know. She was 22, like I just said, and had a daughter named Dina, and this is her second husband named Dean. So Dina and Dean,
Oh, okay.
the child and the stepfather. According to witnesses, which are like her friends and also people that work at the restaurant, I almost said David. Dean works at the restaurant too, so they're all kind of in this close group of friends, and they're all like fucking, not fucking around, but like they're all hanging out and doing stuff. But they all kind of allude to Darlene being a free spirit.
Right.
Which means she has boyfriends. And they also judge her motherhood, like she's not home with her child enough, and so that's a bummer. Let's not do that.
Yeah.
Okay? Mothers are just human beings as well. And no one would be this upset if the papa was doing that. I don't know if you know that, but the first husband was the father, not in this picture at all. Oh. So just so we're clear, she's living her life and she's 22 years old with a child. Okay. So Dean kind of just lets her do whatever the fuck. Not lets her, ew, that sounds so gross, but like he's not upset by it. Like
Okay.
he's just like, whatever, I know this is a phase. I love you, I don't care. So as long as they're cool together, it shouldn't make anyone else's business, but it is everyone else's
Truly,
business, right?
It really does not matter.
But it does to everybody else, and it kind of like besmirches her a little bit. So her coworkers and her friends all have kind of seen this guy. His name is Paul in the book. And this Paul guy just randomly shows up in her life and immediately is terrifying to her. And she won't really say why he's terrifying, other than little snippets from people every now and then. Like maybe she doesn't feel safe, right, necessarily disclosing this information. And on top of that, he now is like in her space. So from her family, her sisters and stuff, they have kind of gathered that Paul is someone that she witnessed a murder. Like he murdered someone and she witnessed it, and he was supposed to be in prison but then got out and now is stalking her. So like her sister and the babysitters both reported this larger, heavyset man with dark hair that was probably late 20s, mid 30s, around that, in a white car, and he would just sit outside the house and watch. while the baby was home with the like babysitters and stuff. It was really scary. And then they ended up moving houses. There's no explanation, but the whole family, Dean, Darlene, and Dina all moved to another space, which is kind of down the street. And then she starts getting packages. And in these packages are not real. I know. And that's so scary.
That's when it's like next level.
It is. And like no one really knows if she is wanting the packages or if she's just getting them. And like one of the packages she like stole right away to the back room and like opened it up and like had said, oh, it's just fabric in it or whatever. And then like made a jumpsuit out of it, out of this like special fabric she got out of this thing. So it was very confusing to everyone. And everything looks suspicious when you don't have the answers.
Yeah.
So I'm sure it's just like maybe she's spending money she doesn't really have and she doesn't want anyone to know. Or it could be like this creepy guy is like, I don't know. It's just it's weird when you don't have the right things, right?
But we
How are we
know
feeling?
that he's
Stalking her, yeah. But we
that's
don't know who
interesting.
Paul is or how really she's connected. Like they don't go into if she was like a witness at some point. Like they don't say that ever.
Interesting. Yeah, that's
I
wild.
needed that, sorry.
Don't stalk people.
Do not. It's
PSA.
so scary. Please don't do that. So at this point, she moves and she has a painting party where she invites all of her friends over. They're going to paint the house. Isn't that so cute?
Yeah.
He fucking shows up and he walks in
That's not cute.
and Paul is in there. And she's like, don't talk to him. Like, get away from him. But like not kicking him out because she's probably terrified that he's going to fucking do something insane in the middle of like this party. And like he won't leave. Eventually he does, but then he's just sitting outside for a long time, which is super scary as well. So now we're gonna jump. This was all kind of happening over months from December to now, which is July 4th, 1969. So we're just 7 months away from that previous murder, okay? There were a lot of characters. Oh, there's a lot of characters, so kind of stick with me. But Darlene has a million sisters. And one of these sisters gets like a debutante or like a pageant thing. So she gets to be in the 4th of July parade and is riding in one of the little cute whatevers. So Darlene ends up going with her to the cute little parade because you can't miss out on opportunity. You know,
Yeah.
you're going to throw flowers or beads or whatever.
I've been at the parade.
You've been at a parade?
Yeah.
On a parade?
The parade.
The parade.
That you're referring
the 4th of
to.
July parade.
Oh. In 69. Oh, because you are so cute. And I'm a silly goose. So Dean is a little bit bummed because that obviously wasn't like a plan they had talked about because he already invited the entire restaurant to come over after they got off to their house to have a 4th of July party. And he was like, I was kind of hoping you were going to get the fireworks for this party. And she was like, okay, yeah, I will definitely so do that. I'm going to be done with the parade by 10, not a big deal. I'll pick him up and I'll be home super quick, not even a problem.
Uh-oh.
So Dina's like, bet that's not going to happen, but I guess we'll see. So the baby is with babysitters at the actual house that they live in, okay? Cool. So Mike, okay, nope, you don't know who Mike is. Here's the characters we're getting into. She goes to the parade, but then she ends up meeting up with Mike, who is a person that she talks to regularly, and Mike is a twin, and the twin we don't talk about.
Okay.
Because apparently the twin is in LA during this entire situation, but it's highly suspect because it's never confirmed his full alibi or where he actually was, okay?
Interesting. Okay.
So she calls up Mike at a payphone, and Mike is like, oh my gosh, I'll be there. He like runs out of his house, leaves all of the lights on, leaves the door open. He like runs into her car, gets in. Yeah, I know, it suddenly gets like really intense. So they're driving around, and whatever she said to him on the phone obviously like was, I need you right now, there's something like fucking terrifying is happening.
Oh.
Yeah, so once they're in the car together, he notices that they're being trailed. And maybe she kind of already knew that in her heart, which is why she was like, I need somebody right now who's
To
like
be here
not
right
my
now.
husband because
Yeah.
that's going to be intense if I don't make it out of this. Like someone has to watch over my baby. That's kind of where I'm thinking she's at. I'm
Okay.
totally contextualizing and making this my own human story, but I'm thinking as like she's in mortal danger right now, right? So she had promised Dean that she'd be home around 10, and obviously that wasn't happening because she picks up Mike around 11:55 of whatever the situation is. While they're driving, this car starts to flash his lights and honk at them and is like really tailgating them and being intense and is kind of, again, herding them towards the direction of this lake. Yeah, which is at a golf course.
Interesting
super
that
scary,
cars
right?
are involved again.
Cars are involved again. Emma, that is what I'm saying. Because never once do they say that the police went to like all of the used car salesmen. Because where are they getting the cars? How does he have different cars? This is a different color even. And it could be witnesses that are like, I'm getting shot at, so the car is a car, right?
Yeah, right.
Because at this point, when
But
they...
there are multiple witnesses.
Yeah.
Like, for multiple...
to different cars
Yeah.
too. The first one was like a white car that was stalking her and stuff, but the car that is now interacting with them is a tan car, like a sedan type situation.
So maybe he has access to,
multiple cars. How would they have that? We don't know. Okay, and then it wouldn't have to be registered under someone's name because they're sitting on a lot somewhere, and he can just put any fucking license plate he wants on it. Anyways, I have jumped down a rabbit hole. You have no idea. They end up going to a parking lot. And in this parking lot, it's completely deserted. There is some lights, but it's not a lot. And again, it's by a lake, body of water, and it's kind of by a golf course. So they're sitting there, and there's not like a lot of information about what's happening, like their interactions in this car, what's going on.
Right.
But they're there together, and eventually a car comes in, and then it leaves. And it was a little bit scary because they're like, oh my God, like, I'm gonna die maybe. Yeah. And then a second car comes in. And this car does the same thing. It pulls up right directly next to them and has the butt of the car facing the tip of this car. So they're parallel like this. Then they're both like temporarily blinded by insane lights. So he has like this huge flashlight situation and shines it in Mike's face so he can't see. And he was then shot. Yeah. He was shot, but he's still alive. Darlene, he then goes around to the other side of the car, shoots her 9 times. Yeah.
Mike tried odd numbers of shots in the women.
Yeah, so many more in the women. Then Mike tries to open the door to get out and like run. Obviously, your instincts are like, get the fuck out of this situation. But there's no door handle. Yeah.
Why?
What?
We don't know.
Are we in a nightmare? What's
yes,
happening?
This is a nightmare. I got distracted. Once that happens, he basically like plays dead when he realizes he can't get out of the car. And that pretty much saves him until like gutturally he screams. And at this point, the killer is walking back towards his car and slowly, this is a nightmare, slowly turns around when he's like trying to muffle his agonizing screams and comes back and shoots him again.
No. Oh my God.
I know.
How do we know this part? Like, how are we getting this information
I'm going to tell you.
from the dead people?
Don't you worry. I'm going to tell you.
Did we wake them up by ask?
Yeah, spirit medium.
At this point, some of the bullets that were shot at Darlene also went into Mike, and he didn't know. So
Oh, that's terrible.
I know. So he was shot through the face and the jaw, and so it went through his tongue. So he was trying to talk and like scream for help, but nothing was coming out except for blood. And that was also terrifying. And he was also hearing Darlene moan, but she wasn't saying anything. I touched my mic. I'm so sorry. At this point, by random, the guy leaves, right? By random fucking chance, 3 friends were looking for their other missing friend. So they were running around like all of these like areas looking for their
Like
missing
random
friend.
roads and
For real, had nothing to be, there's no reason to be there in that moment at the exact time, right? They find them and they get up to him and they realize that they've all been shot and they're like fucking freaking out because they're teenagers and like, what the hell is going
a whole bunch
on?
of shot people, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
and
my
he's
gosh.
like gargling with blood spurting out of his fucking mouth. Sorry,
Whoa.
you hate me so much. I'm
No,
so
I
sorry.
don't. That's just wow.
I
That's
know.
gotta be
I'm
intense
just
for
like,
them.
and I'm in my when I'm reading this, I'm seeing it as it's like happening. You know,
Yeah,
because
I
he's
mean,
telling it
and like
in fucking
reading is
detail.
sometimes so much more vivid than like a movie
It
because your
really
brain can
is.
paint the
Fill
picture
in the blanks
real well.
That is
yeah.
so true. They no cell phones. I don't know if you know this, but in 69, they don't have cell phones. So they have to leave to go find a payphone.
An owl. Oh.
Yes, an owl, a fucking pigeon to tell them. The cops come around 12:10, so it's not long. I know that seems like an insane amount of time when you're shot and bleeding out, but in the grand scheme of things, like this person is a murderer. He just came, shot both of you. In his mind, you're gonna sit there for a minute,
Yeah, right.
bleed out and die. Their job is done. They don't have to sit there until the last
How did they know
breath.
it's all connected? How did they know those two were the same person?
Aha. That's what we have to figure out. Because Then at some point, we're going to get to this, but you won't be here. I'm going to tell you right now. He starts sending letters to the Chronicles with ciphers. And he's like, I killed this many people. And he has like special details of the murders that weren't released to the public that he's saying back to the thing. So then they're connecting all of this together. Because you're right, he's using different weapons. He kind of has a different area, not too much different, but he's in a little different area, a different mode of operandi. Like he's completely, we don't know if Betty was stalked, right? We don't know. Concrete know that. There are multiple witnesses in Darlene's case that she was being followed and stalked. And that was never like really gone into. The police did not go into that, of course. I know. Also, so he's alive. Two cops get there. They're trying to like not really help him, but they're trying to wait for the ambulance to get there. And they're also trying to like ask him questions.
Right.
So he's barely getting out words, but like, guy, white, shot me, kept shooting. Like, I can't say anymore because my tongue is bleeding out.
It's like at the dentist. They're like, so what year of school are you? And this is not the time. Not the time. Maybe just wait. Or give me a pencil and a paper.
How about you fix my wound?
Literally, for real.
Did he die on the scene?
I'm gonna tell you, I promise. I know it's too intense. I'm feeling it too.
I know, I'm wondering.
All I envision is like a tongue with like a hole in it.
It is. It's just, well, blood.
Spurting.
Blood.
Yeah.
At this point, the police also noticed that Mike is wearing 3 pairs of pants, 3 sweaters, a long sleeve button-up shirt, and a t-shirt. And it was July. So, that's a little different.
What?
Just a
Yeah.
unique person?
When he was questioned about it by the police later on, he said it's because he felt insecure about his body.
That's
So he
what I
like
was gonna
bulked up.
say.
Well, I don't fucking know.
There's some interesting things that people do, I guess, and
Maybe he was just
like,
panicked and like, I don't know.
He was worried he was gonna play some strip poker or.
Maybe, I don't know.
looking bulkier.
I don't know.
My initial thought was he was trying to like pad up and protect himself.
Me
from
too.
The...
Knowing that there's going to be a gunman
Yeah.
that is going to kill him, but also that's obviously not going to work as a gun. So the gun used in this was a 9mm / a .32 caliber weapon. So this was like a police issued type gun that they think was being used. Interesting. The 2 detectives that showed up first both knew Darlene because she apparently was dating, we don't know what that means, a lot of these cops.
Right. That makes sense. So she was kind of already
in the mix.
And somehow they're getting letters now?
Yes,
Sorry.
the letters will come, I promise. So Darlene obviously died, and she was pronounced dead at the hospital at 12:38 a.m. And then by 12:40, so this is 2 minutes later, the Vallejo police get a call from a man's voice, very calm, saying he would like to report a double murder and gave exact directions to Darlene and Mike. And that was through a payphone. The car was originally registered to Dean's father's name, so he was notified first, and at this point Dean doesn't know until about 2 a.m. when he can't find her. Like, the babysitter should have already been gone by the time he was home, and the babysitter was still there, so he went to go look for Darlene, and when he came back, they told him that she had been murdered.
Oh my word.
Yeah. A bunch of her relatives also got phone calls, so any of the numbers that were listed in the yellow pages got a phone call that night with a man heavy breathing on the phone. So 3 different relatives got phone calls from someone just going,
Why would someone directly target this person and then look everything up and try to make a whole thing?
yeah, her parents did not get a call, but it's because their parents' phone number was not listed in the yellow pages.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
So it's like almost random, or just like whatever you could.
Whatever they
What
could.
he could put his
Just
thing
to
to,
be
yeah.
Weird.
Yeah, to be fucking scary as fuck. You may be wondering about the door handle.
Yeah. Please
Okay.
elaborate.
It was mysteriously replaced from the time that the cops had showed up to the time that the car was impounded to evidence to be like fully looked over. It had been replaced.
That can't be right. What?
So it was removed and then replaced?
For what reason? That doesn't make any sense.
What if, tell me I'm crazy,
Well, I mean, I'm not going to tell you you're crazy because what if?
what if the person following her was a police officer?
It's starting to sound
What
like
if that this police officer was someone that participated with Darlene and did not like that she participated with other people and decided to murder them.
Wow. Yeah, I mean.
And then would you try to blame it on someone else from a different murder? That was.
And then it's so easy. Yeah, it's so easy
you're a
to
cop,
send in
you
a
can do
letter
whatever you
at
need
this
to
point and
do.
connect the murders and say, don't look at her individual life. This is connected to the first murder
else.
because I am the Zodiac, and so he's gonna take. I'm going crazy in my rabbit hole, right? I'm thinking
With the
that
board and
someone
the-
is
I
trying
need-
to cover up an individual murder, so they're tacking that on to another individual murder and saying these are the same thing.
Yes. Because
Very
they would have had
dangerous.
the information on how the murder happened
from the
Whoa.
first one. From the first one. That's what I'm
Whoa.
saying.
Wow. That's, I mean,
And it's hard to tell because of people that you have to trust.
Yeah. There's literally no way to know.
I mean, the Handle situation, they watch evidence pretty closely. Like, they're not just willy-nilly driving cars places.
I know. Isn't that fucking
Also-
two bananas?
Still, I'm still hung up on the fact that there is no door handle. Like, you're reaching for it.
And there's nothing there. And
Oh,
you're literally
oh my
bleeding
gosh,
out.
that's terrifying.
He survived. Mike survived. And so that's how we got all of this information by a play-by-play because he was able to get surgery and fix his face.
Wow. That is incredible.
You guys, I need to take a breath. Who else needs one? Raise
Me.
your hands.
Me.
It's really intense. I don't like gun violence. I think maybe that's why this is harder for me because I really have a hard time with guns. You don't have a way to defend yourself. You can't do anything. You will always
Right,
lose.
absolute.
You will
Yeah.
always lose. You can't bring a knife to a gunfight, and they say that for a fucking reason. So make it even. No, that's not the right message, right?
No.
So that's
don't
what we're
shoot
getting
people.
this. We're getting the silent producer is doing this. So I'm going to take that as what I need to do and say thank you guys so much for being here. I love you so
Thank you
much.
for having
We're
me.
going to take a beautiful break and we're going to come back with even more crazy cuckoo bananas. So stick tuned. We love you. Bye. Hey, nerds! We're back at the 50th episode. It's gonna be spectacular because Diamond's here now. Woo! Hey! Wait. And over to my right, Diamond. And she celebrates being vegan.
Yeah.
Say it loud and proud.
Yeah.
And over to my phone is Corey Davis! That was my intro because it's too much. And Corey celebrates the universe in its entirety. Oh, Corey?
Yep.
You're on camera.
Did Diamond mute me? I was about to say, this bitch done muted me!
No, you're so unmuted. Corey, I'm so happy you're here, and thank you for taking your time. Corey is living his best life, and he's thriving, and there's nothing to worry about. Everything is beautiful and lovely. He just had to be on the phone this time. So, Corey, thank you for doing that.
Oh my gosh, thank you for having me.
You're a sweetie little Bo Beatty. I'm sure you know all about the Zodiac killer. So you don't even have to be here for this because you already know all about it.
Yeah. Mhm.
And
I know
have you seen Dirty Harry before?
Yeah, I know all about Harry and his dirty.
I knew it. I knew Corey did. I could feel it from the very beginning. Corey
He
knew
seems
about
like a
it.
dirty, hairy person.
I think so.
No!
Well, Corey, I don't want to keep you any longer than you're being kept. So, do you hate me? I might have to say goodbye.
No, I don't hate you. I could never hate you. And I will see you in person literally so soon.
Yay!
Yay, Corey!
Yeah. Yay, 50. Yay, 50. You're old.
Thank you, Corey. I love that. That's so true. We are old. That's very, very true. All right, bye, bestie. Love you.
Love you, Corey. Bye.
What a sweetie little Bo Beatty.
He's a cute guy.
He's a cute guy. I don't know if you know this.
What?
But there might be somebody else
else in this room that maybe wants to sit down on this couch. Our silent producer is saying no, he doesn't. I'm just kidding. I'm welcoming to the stage Armando. Bow, bow.
Here he comes.
Here he comes.
Here he comes.
Here he comes.
Look at those buns.
Whoa, that was cute. Look at those buns. And over to my right, Armando. And he celebrates fish fries. Fish fries. Fridays. Fish fry Fridays.
You heard what she said.
I did. Said it and you heard it. You guys, what the fuck?
Hi.
Thank you so much for being here.
Sorry, I was not ready.
I love it. Do you have anything you want to talk about?
I want to talk about the cake that Emma was talking about earlier because it's here.
What?
It's here. Can we see her? Can we see her? Can I lift her?
Please don't drop the cake. For the love of God. Wow, cake with a little baby.
Yes.
Diamond got us the most beautifulest cake for our 50th. What a sweet angel baby doll. She put little baby dolls in it because, let's be honest, the cake lady did not understand.
She didn't understand my vision.
She didn't know.
I was trying to talk to this lady at Smith's. Thank you, Smith's, for the wonderful cake.
Thank you, Smith's.
But I was trying to explain, like, my friends, it's their 50th episode of their podcast. It's a true crime podcast. You guys have, like, maybe blood, bones. And she's like, what do you want to do with a cake? So I'm like, please just do what you can. So I added a little something, something.
And she did do what she could.
She did what she could.
And she did great.
Yeah.
And you did better. Let's be
Yes.
honest. You need to be the cake decorator.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for doing that. You're a sweet little angel. I see that your shirt says, that's nasty.
That's nasty. That's not good.
So you love maggots.
I think they're actually nasty and they're not good.
Oh. Well, that quote makes sense.
Yeah. I was thinking of actually putting maybe little maggots, fake maggots on there, but I just couldn't.
Next time.
Next
For
one.
100th.
100th episode.
100th. Yeah.
Yeah.
Armando, is there anything you want to talk about?
I can't wait to have one that slices of cake.
I know, I'm like wanting it right to the second.
Chocolate.
We are all gonna go have celebratory dumplings. If you've never had a soup dumpling, you're missing out. I heard from the grapevine that, maybe it wasn't you, Emma, I'm looking at Emma. Someone told me that the Trader Joe's dumplings are actually pretty good, even though they're frozen. So I don't know. I don't know.
Okay.
Try it. We don't know. Thank you both so much for being here. I really appreciate it. We are gonna finish up talking about the Zodiac killer. So do you know what I'm gonna talk about?
I know what both of those words are individually.
Right.
And together, I also know.
This is hard.
I know it a little bit, yeah.
Okay, you know a little bit. Okay. And because you were there, right?
Yeah.
In 68, 69?
Yeah.
You
He's
were
pretty
in
old.
Vallejo, California?
Yeah.
I knew it. And Damon, do you know who the Zodiac is?
I seen the movie.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a movie and I saw it and it scared me.
Which we haven't brought that up yet, so thank you so much for saying that. This book, Gray Smith did both. So he worked on the book and then he worked on the movie.
Oh, okay.
I heard that there were people who were like, it's me. And then they were like, it wasn't you. And I think that's brilliant.
Yes.
And I love that.
Right?
I just wish I had the
Gall.
gall to be like, no, I murdered those people. And just like was so intrigued by it when you had no idea.
Nothing
how
about
that would be
nothing.
possible.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree. I love the confidence of men.
I know.
Thank you.
You said that? So we just had obviously the beautiful Emma and Efren here, and we were
So
talking
beautiful.
about so beautiful the first sets of what's happening. So we had Darlene. Nope, that's immediately wrong. Betty Lou and David were murdered.
Betty Lou.
Yeah, I know Betty Lou. Sorry, bye Betty. Darlene and Mike were at the next scene. Darlene was murdered, and Mike was because like that's intense.
Yeah.
Super injured. Lots of bullet wounds. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So now we're looking at, I'm going to tell you what we're looking at. August 1st.
August 1st, New Year's
Yo.
birthday.
Scary. 1969. So this is about 28 days later after Darlene and Mike had their situation go on. The Robert Graysmith, he is the political cartoonist for the Chronicle at the time.
Okay.
So he's in the meeting in the morning for what the publishers are going to put out for the day. And he's there with the publisher, and he's there with a couple of other editorial heads that need to be in this meeting where they're going to talk about what they're going to put out for the next day. This is when they received the first letter.
So this was sent to the San Francisco Chronicle, and the letter read, I'm going to fucking read it for you right now.
We have the letter.
Dear editor, this is the murder of the 2 teenagers last Christmas at Lake Herman and the girl on the 4th of July near the golf course in Vallejo. To prove I killed them, I shall state some facts which only I and the police know. Christmas was spelled with 2 S's. There's lots of errors in the spelling in this note. Number 1, brand name of ammo was Super X. That was true. The ammo that they used was Super X. Number 2, 10 shots were fired. 3, the boy was on his back with his feet to the car. So they're talking about the first murder. So when he was shot, originally he was in the front seat, but then he came back and started shooting into the car again. So the guy kind of fell out of the back seat of the car. So his feet were still in the car, but he had been kind of propelled outside of the car. So his head was on the ground outside. I know. So he said that in here. The girl was on her right side with her feet facing west, and that was also true. And then he's talking about July 4th now. One girl was wearing patterned slacks, and he's referring to the floral kind of pants that she had made from like a random piece of fabric she got in a package. It was a whole conundrum. The boy was also shot in the knee. This is true. And the brand name of the ammo was Western or that it says over, insinuating that there's another piece of the note on the back, so kind of childish. Wow. The back says, I want you to print this cipher on the front page of your paper. In the cipher is my identity. If you do not print the cipher by the afternoon of Fry, spelled F-R-Y, first of August 69, I will go on a kill rampage. Fry, night. I will cruise around all weekend killing lone people in the night, then move on to kill again until I end up with 12 people over the weekend. Oh. This is the cipher that was sent in. So 3 different pieces of the cipher were sent to 3 different newspapers. So they didn't actually publish them all in a row, but they are publishing them.
Wow.
Right, isn't that so crazy? So by the Sunday, the 3rd piece of the cipher had been released, and this high school teacher named Donald Hardin, because I know it, Donald Hardin. He is an amateur code breaker, but he just loves code. He just thinks it's interesting. But he's a high school teacher, so on his lazy Sunday, he's gonna take the 3 pieces from the different newspapers and he's gonna code this out, basically figure out what this message says. He was not getting very far. He was starting to kind of give up because it doesn't follow normal patterns of coding. It's kind of all jumbled up and mixed up into a whole situation. But then his wife got interested. So Betty June was like, I can solve this because I'm everything.
Because she's a woman.
She's a woman. Thank you. So when he had given up, she said, I'm not giving up. I'm going to keep looking at it. Even though she doesn't have an interest in code, she doesn't really have any stake in the game. She just wants to figure this out now. She's determined. As she's doing this, she's kind of thinking about what the letter said that wasn't in code and thinking about some of the words and phrases he was using in that to see if that would then translate to what the cipher was saying. You know, if he's using kill a lot versus using die a lot. Right. So she figures that the first part is probably something like I like to kill or killing. I killed this person or something in that nature. So once she was able to figure that out, they started unraveling the code.
Wow.
Yeah, by just kind of putting some logic into what he was thinking onto paper. 24 hours later, after Donald had first picked up this code, they broke it.
Wow.
Yeah, the piece that they got. So they actually didn't break all 3 pieces. She was just able to break this one piece, and I'm going to read it to you in 2 seconds. It says, I like killing people because it is so much fun. It is more fun than killing wild game in the forest because man is the most dangerous animal of all to kill. Sometimes something gives me the most thrilling experience. It is even better than getting your rocks off with a girl. The best part of it is that when I die, I will be reborn in paradise, and they have killed, and that they have killed will become my slaves and will not give you my name because you will try to slow down or stop my collecting of slaves for afterlife. And then it's a quadrillion extra letters and things that they couldn't put together. This is what some people think is his name, but in an anagram.
Oh, wow.
But they can't crack that either.
That is crazy.
Yeah. So the reason why it was so hard to figure out is because the most common letters are like E, L, T, A, those types of things. Right. And so normally you have one symbol per each letter that you're putting the thing on. For example, one of the E's, I think, had 3 or 4 different symbols that could mean E. So it was like really hard for people to figure out. CIA couldn't crack it.
But Betty could.
FBI couldn't crack it.
But Betty could.
Betty could. Still, 2 of them I think are not, well, actually I think only 1 remains that is not completely solved, yeah. So that's bananas, right?
Yeah, that's crazy.
I agree.
It's kind of weird, the stuff he was saying.
Yeah, he likes to kill.
Yeah.
They get more.
I think there's more other things that I was like, what?
Oh.
His issue.
What is this?
Like, that's insane to just think about. Like this is like a game show. Like
he just is for funsies.
Sick.
Yeah, I know. It's so crazy. All right, let's talk about Cecilia Ann Shepard. We are now at September 27, 1969, so this is about 54 days after that letter was sent in. Cecilia had just finished her 2-year degree at Pacific Union College, so I'm thinking it's like a community college situation. She's going to transfer to UC Riverside, so she has to say goodbye to her friend, boyfriend.
Bye, boy.
And that is Brian Hartnell. And so she had just gone back to kind of collect her things and met up with Brian. They're going to go have a good last fun day together. Yeah, it's hard to say goodbye, but you gotta. So they decided that they were going to go up to Lake Berryess, one of Brian's favorite spots.
It's always a lake.
It's always
it's always a couple, right?
Yes.
Isn't that weird?
It's so weird. So they were kind of sitting down at part of this peninsula area. So normally this part of the lake, when it's rainy season, you can't sit in this area. It like swells up, and then it goes back down in the off season. So they're sitting out on this peninsula, and they're near 2 super large oak trees, and they're just laying down on the blanket, like having a cool, maybe kissing, we don't know, having a little day. When Cecilia sees this man walking very slowly towards them, she can tell that he has a hood on, so she can't see his face. And he pretty much has black all the way down with boots like in his shoes and stuff. And she's like, this is fucking weird, dude. So she tells Brian, and Brian's like, I'm sure it's like, he's just a guy going to fish or whatever. Just if he gets too close or uncomfortable, you tell me. And he's just chilling, whatever. Yeah. He is getting very close to them now. And she says, Cecilia's like, you need to look. Like, this is, he's like coming towards us right now. And as they both start to like turn and look at his direction, he's completely gone. Can't see him anymore.
Scary movie.
And Brian is like, relax. I'm sure he just is gone to go do whatever, right? Not a big deal. Unfortunately, it was a big deal.
Yeah.
He slid right behind one of the trees, so he was like within 10 feet of them, but they could not, put that together. They had no idea. And as they've kind of calmed down a little bit, he appears from behind the trees right over directly on top of them.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And he says, I need your money. I just escaped from a hospital, and I have this stolen car, and I need you to give me the money that you had. This is 69? So they don't have a lot of just like cash in the wind. They're college students, so he literally has 50 cents in his pocket. Like that's it. He doesn't have any money.
More than me.
Bitch.
In this economy?
In this economy? At this point, the killer's just like, just give me what you have, not a big deal. Brian's trying to kind of just talk to him and see if he can walk him down from the ledge, but he can't. He pulls out some fishing wire, or they call it clothesline wire, but it's like very thin wire, and he has Cecilia tie Brian up kind of in a hog tie situation. She does it really loose. The killer gets mad. He's like, that's not enough. He ties it super, super tight to where it's like cutting off circulation in his hands.
Oh my gosh.
Then he ties up Cecilia. So they're both tied up on their stomachs at this point, and they're still kind of just trying to talk to him and see what they can do to like get out of this situation. Because they're kind of just thinking that he's gonna steal their car or steal something and like leave them here tied up.
Has he shown a gun at this point?
No.
No. See, I'm gonna fight or flight at that point. It's 2v1.
I think you don't know how you're gonna react too. Like this has never happened to her.
I know. If he doesn't got a gun or something, it's like, hey, we're gonna try to tie you up. Like, it's 2v1.
Maybe they saw his knife because he does have a knife.
Okay.
But it's not noted in
Okay,
here.
okay.
Maybe they just saw it and were like doing whatever he says, or just trying to like placate the situation too, right?
It's true.
He's probably a big guy. I just feel like he's a bigger guy.
He is. He's a heavy set guy with brown hair that keeps coming up. Like he's pretty. They don't call him fat. They just call him heavy, and then he kind of has like
They
a
call
beer
me
gut.
heavy.
Oh. But he, again, has this whole getup going. He has like a hood on his face. So that's also kind of terrifying
Scary,
at this
yeah.
point. They're not seeing him.
Okay.
Yeah. So they're both tied up, and at this point, he keeps telling them that he's going to kill them.
Oh.
He just says, I'm going to kill you, I have to kill you. And he's trying to talk him out of it, and that's not working. And then he eventually stabs Brian in the back.
Wow.
He stabs him a couple of times, and he's like bleeding, but he doesn't like move around or like it just kind of takes it and is just trying not to die at this point, right? Then he moves over to Cecilia and does the same thing, starts stabbing her in the back. She is having a different response and is basically flailing her body to try to not be stabbed in the back. He stabs her about 8 times in the back, and then she just kind of naturally flips over. So he's stabbing her repeatedly in the sides and the stomach, and now the torso in the front. Overall, she's stabbed 24 times over her backsides in front of her torso.
Wow.
He leaves her there. He leaves both of them there and just walks away, gets in his car and leaves. Actually, I lied. Before he gets in his car, he takes a marker, like a Sharpie, and writes on their car all of the dates of his previous murders, and then he writes today's date with knife underneath it on the car. And then he writes his sign, which is a circle with a cross inside of it. That's the Zodiac signature. So he puts that all on the car. There's some pictures, but we don't have to go into it.
That's crazy.
Of the car, not the people. At this point, they're both still alive, and they really don't feel like anything is going to happen because they're in the middle of the woods.
Right.
Fortunately, there is a dentist and his son about 1/4 of a mile away that but kind of heard moans and groans happening. So they go to them, find them, and then go to get help. Then 2 rangers from the state park come in via boat and see them moaning and groaning. And at this point, Brian has crawled onto his stomach and is now crawling, or he's been on his stomach. He's now crawling, trying to get back to his car to the road to get help. So he's crawled like a long ways without having his arms or legs and bleeding out of his back.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yes. By the time the Rangers get there, it takes an hour for the ambulance to come. Meanwhile, she's pretty much stopped bleeding because there is no more blood to be let.
Wow.
She's been stabbed so many times, but she's completely conscious and in incredible amounts of pain throughout this entire process. So once the ambulance gets there an hour later, it takes another hour to get to the hospital.
Oh my goodness.
So that's 2 hours of being in excruciating pain, and I hope there was a paramedic that gave her like fucking something. She was pronounced dead 2 days later.
Dang.
Yeah, so her parents were with her when she passed. That same night, however, so she died 2 days later, and Brian survived.
Wow.
But that night, the attack was kind of logged from getting the phone call from Rangers or whatever. It was logged that it happened around 7:13 p.m. At 7:40, the police got a call from a man saying that he had just killed 2 people and gave exact instructions on where to find them.
But he was wrong.
I mean, they had already been found, but
because it was one.
he thought he had killed them both, thinking that no one was going to find them right away. Yeah. So that's fucking cuckoo bananas, right?
Yes, it is.
Excuse me. They tracked this phone call back, and they were able to lift a print, a palm print off of the phone that was used to call at that exact time.
Wow.
I know, isn't that amazing? They can't match it to anybody. Okay. The car, the writing was all of the pictures were taken because they were going to try to match the writing on the car to the paper that was written in. I will say that's kind of debunked now because your writing
physically changes, like your writing style changes whether you're writing like this on a board, which was basically what he was doing, writing on the side of a car, versus writing on a piece of paper. Your physical letters and the spacing and everything looks completely different from those two samples. So it wasn't actually the best method to try to nab him, yeah. So we're all done with laptop now. Isn't that exciting? We're going to go classic, only book.
Oh, wow. We get the
That's a
classic.
graduation.
We graduated.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is what we know at this point. The victims, and they're kind of just summarizing all of what they know, what's connecting them. The victims were young students and couples. The attacks all occurred on weekends near holidays. The murders were at dusk or at night. Robbery or sexual molestation was not a motive. A different weapon was used each time. The killer had a compulsion to brag about the murders by phone or letter, right? He was making the phone calls in the first two, and then he was doing letters this next one. And he's reporting on all of his murders that he's doing anyways. The Zodiac killed in remote lovers' lanes. The slayings all occurred around and in cars, and the victims were always near water.
That is so weird.
Isn't that fucking weird?
Yeah.
I know. So the most of the people here are thinking that, and Emma kind of had said this earlier, thinking that they were more aggressive towards the women than they were the men, right? I mean, being stabbed 24 times, being stabbed like a handful of times, those are two different situations, right? Two different feelings on that. Okay, so this next thing that I'm going to talk about is technically connected to the Zodiac. However, if you're a conspiracy theorist, this doesn't align with what has already been going on. So this is the case of Paul Lee Stein. He is a cab driver. He picks up this person in the cab. He tells him to take him to a specific location. When he gets to the location, the meter's running, right? When he gets to the location, the passenger that pick up says, go another block. So he goes another block. He does, he pulls over, and then he feels a gun put up to behind his ear. On the base of his head, he is shot. This person kills him.
Oh, gosh.
Yep. Then the person gets into the passenger seat of the car, thinking that no one can see him. Unbeknownst to him, in an apartment about 50 feet away, can see perfectly into the street. Two teenagers, a 14-year-old and a 16-year-old, are at a party, and they see basically this next half of what I'm about to tell you. So he gets into the passenger side. He kind of pulls this person that has had their complete face blown off into his lap. And he's messing around. They can't really see what he's doing. Yeah. But he's getting stuff. And then they see him kind of wiping things inside.
What?
He's like wiping the windows. He's like wiping the dash. He's kind of wiping the guy a little bit.
Okay.
Puts the guy back over. Again, they can't see anything of what's going on. Well, they can see little things, but they can't see like great, like the guy, they don't know that his head has been completely blown off, right? They can't see that. Then he gets out of the car, he goes out to the other side, outside of the car and starts wiping some things, and then he walks away very casual. No running, no like making a scene, it's just walking out. He's completely dressed in black. They think he's a mid-40s, 30s kind of guy with a crew cut, dark hair, glasses, and is a bigger guy. He's got some heft to him. And he walks out. The parents that were listening to these kids, in their racist minds, heard black man, even though they said white.
And
so
I'm leaving. I'm just kidding.
I know, literally though. Well,
That's crazy.
The good thing is it was changed, but the bad thing is this guy's walking down the street. He's got dark clothes on, but obviously there's blood all over him.
Yeah.
Two patrolmen stopped, see it's a white guy, and said, have you seen a black male in the area?
Dang, they were talking to him.
They were talking to him.
Wow.
He said, no, but I saw someone brandishing a weapon on Washington just down the street. They fucking leave.
Wow.
They don't spend any seconds talking to this motherfucker
That's
at all.
crazy.
If they had just looked at him a little bit,
Yeah.
they would have seen that he was wet and glistening. He had fresh blood on his fucking body.
That's crazy.
So then he goes up into, I'm thinking it's like a golf course or something, or like a wooded area, but it's like a state park, I guess. But witnesses see this man go into the woods. A full search happens. Once they talk to the teenagers and they realize that it's a white man, they are like, oh, fuck. We just probably let him go.
Yep.
And he was heading this way. So they turn the search around. According to a letter that's sent in later, he taunted them and said, I was waiting for you guys to stop making so much noise with all your police cars, but I was in the forest the entire time and you just passed me in the forest. We don't know if that's true or not, but that's what he said in the letter. Isn't that fucking cuckoo bananas? And how that like could have ended it right then and there. We would all know who it is.
Yeah, if the police did their job.
At all, just a little bit for 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Just for 1 quick second.
For once.
Dang it. That's how I feel. That's really, really how I feel.
It's just, it makes sense.
I know. They got a bloody handprint from inside of the car. So the wiping didn't completely eliminate.
Didn't get it out.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so they were able to get that. They got a 9mm casing from underneath the seat. So he didn't grab the casing, whatever was dropped. He's not really concerned about any of these forensics, right? He's just been leaving.
Is just insane.
I know, he's just leaving fucking shit wherever and nobody is doing it, which is bananas. The report of those 2 policemen were put in a confidential report, so it wasn't put into the main one, and they still deny it to this day that they never saw the Zodiac killer walking, but we all know what the fucking truth is.
Yeah.
They were just stinkers. Then it goes into a lot of detail about his autopsy, and just to tell us that he was murdered by a gun. So we can just probably skip that part, right?
Yeah.
Good idea. Stein, this is a little bit about the victim. He was 30 years old and, was about to be, he was 29, he was about to be 30 years old and was working nights as a cabbie to get him through his master's degree as an English major.
Aw.
Yeah. And he was going to graduate soon, which is a fucking bum.
Yeah.
I know. Okay, so that's where we're at. How do we feel? Everything is sad. You want to cry. This is the drawing.
I want him to get his comeuppance.
This is the drawing of what Brian and Cecilia would have seen.
That's
It was
freaky.
literally a paperback.
Yeah, it was like a square hood,
That's
like an
scary.
executioner's hood. I know, isn't that so scary? That's one of the composite, you guys can't see this, but that was one of the composite sketches. It looks like an ugly baby.
Yeah.
I know, that's so scary, right?
I want to hit him.
He's still taunting them with these letters at this point, and they can't figure out when it's coming in and when it's going. There's people that are like pleading with him in the news to just stop killing.
Yeah, please, sir.
Just come on out.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Obviously, that doesn't work, and then he gets annoyed. Whoever printed that, he doesn't send any more letters to them because he's like, that was rude. I'm obviously going to just keep doing what I want to do.
Wow.
At this point, this is all of the victims that are for sure connected to the Zodiac killer. There isn't any, there's theories that there might be more victims that just were not specifically connected in the way of like, I guess they have evidence of some kind, but they're not clear about that. This is a fun little aside, and then we're going to get to conspiracy theories.
Okay.
Okay, so there was a morning show. Jim Dunbar
Okay.
show. It was like a morning show. And supposedly the Zodiac killer wanted to speak with F. Lee Bailey, who is a very famous defense attorney, or this other very famous defense attorney, Melvin Belly. Mel Bell. Belly was like, sure, I'll go and talk. Not a big deal. We'll have a fun time.
Yeah.
So he gets on the morning show, and they have no one else call in. And this person that is identifying as the name Sam calls in and says that he has horrible headaches, and he started when he killed a boy, and that's when he started getting these headaches. You can hear the recording. It's wild. Eventually, they found out that it was someone who was pretty severely mentally ill, and it was kind of just in a not a good state to be, what was happening. So it was not the Zodiac, but it was like a really intense moment on this guy's morning TV
Yeah, can
show.
you imagine?
Yeah.
Good morning, kids. I'm just going to turn on the channel real quick.
Yeah.
I killed a bunch of people.
I know, for real.
What are you watching, Mom?
It's so wild to me, too, because they kept posting his letters like over and over and over again, and his body count kept getting higher and higher, even though there's really no way to know. So I'm going to stop reading because this is where we talk.
Okay.
I don't want to talk about the ones that they don't really know are for real Zodiac or not, because that's another layer that we don't want to get into. There was plenty of copycat killers that came in and tried to do the whole shebang. So we could talk about that forever, right? What I'm concerned about is, number one, I don't feel like the police were fully knowing what a serial killer was. Like, I don't think that in this time they were fully prepared. Manson had not happened yet. There was a lot of things culturally that I think they were not ready to, like, really dive into. But then they went, like, completely the other way and went too far in. Meaning they were, in my opinion, they were adding a lot of things and cases to, like, fit the narrative so that they didn't have to do, like, any actual police work. Because, in my opinion, in Darlene's case, who was our second victim, you guys weren't here for that, I feel like her case is completely solvable. I feel like if they had just taken a little bit more time, they could have, like, really gone through, and there's an eyewitness.
Yeah.
Like, and the composite sketches, there's a bunch that are really famous for him, but they don't really fit to anybody else. So there's one big suspect that Robert Graysmith says it is. It's an acquaintance of his that his name is Arthur Lee Allen. He's a pedophile, convicted pedophile. And apparently there had been some, like, hanging out times where he had confessed to other friends, like, hey, wouldn't it be funny if we killed a bunch of people? You know, stuff like that. And
Would it be funny? Yeah.
like,
That's what we're doing after this, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I thought that's what we did.
Killing people.
Yeah.
Games.
Yeah.
Wait, I have to crack this. Okay, hold on one second.
ASMR.
Ooh, nice crack. Sorry, I need a little whip my whistle, if you will.
Yeah. Slurp it up.
Thank you. So, I'm gonna alert this really hard.
Okay.
This motherfucker did not do it, right? Because his prints didn't match. Number one, I don't think his blood type matched. And there was no actual real evidence that they can connect to Arthur Lee Allen. So, he's out of the game.
Okay.
Just so we're all clear, this has never been solved.
Wow,
right?
that's insane. That is insane.
Isn't it very scary and sad? And also, it's baffling to me because they have so much evidence. Like, if you were to test any of the evidence we have now, his blood is everywhere. Like, I'm sorry, you don't stab someone 24 times and you don't have blood there.
Yeah.
That's just not how that works. I just feel like if they test a little DNA and they care a little bit, they could solve all of these cases. Even the ones that they think are, like, partially linked to the Zodiac, like, they could totally solve these. They have DNA on them, so it's just wild that they're not solved. There's no funding to do it, but it's fucking upsetting. But people have also said that the Unabomber might have been the Zodiac killer. He wasn't. His shit did not match either.
Okay.
But it's kind of his same idea. At one point, the Zodiac killer, like, wrote in saying that he was going to, if they didn't wear his sign on a button, he was going to stop a school bus and blow it up and kill all the children. And anybody that got off, he was going to shoot and kill. He said that.
Dang.
So, like, the whole state of Vallejo basically had an entire force of people working on the buses. So they had multiple different police officers on there. They had 2 bus drivers at one time because in their mind, he's going to pluck off one of the bus drivers. So the second one was supposed to be there in case the first one died.
That's
to drive the bus.
Crazy.
I know, they were all fucking terrified. And later on, he was like, haha, just kidding. You guys were so scared, but I was never going to do that.
We hate you.
He's the worst,
We hate
right?
him. We hate him so much.
But people thought it was the Unabomber because he referenced bomb materials and he referenced blowing the kids up, and that's kind of the Unabomber's thing, right? It's not him. It doesn't match his handwriting. Well, it's hard because the handwriting analysis is not an actual science, right? Like, if I'm tired, my handwriting looks crazy. If I'm at school, my handwriting looks a different way. If I'm doing whatever, I mean, you're changing in your life. You can't just...
If I'm like, please write something down, and I'm the killer, I'm not going to write like I did when I was the killer, right?
Exactly.
Like, I feel like that just...
And also, people think that that he's, like, kind of dumb, right? Because he had a lot of spelling mistakes. He didn't really have real sentences. But I don't think he's dumb at all.
No, I think
in fact, I think he was trying to look dumb so that it was not his thing. And, like, you're going to change up your weapons every time? That sounds organized to me.
Yes.
Like, you don't want to be connected to one specific idea or material.
Very calculated.
Yeah, and Richard Ramirez did the same thing. He just did whatever. He used whatever weapon he had, strangulation, knives, guns. He did all of it. And it threw people off for a long time because you want to see pattern in something, right? As a human being, you want to be like, oh, this obviously makes sense, and this does this and this and this. But that's not how people work. We're unconventional. We can change our minds at any time. So people obviously think Ted Cruz at some point was the... he's not it.
Let's be honest
Are
with
we
ourselves.
sure?
Yeah, we're pretty sure. But they interviewed probably thousands, I would say up to 5,000 different people in the search for this. They had multiple, every day they probably had 5 to 6 different people being accused. Like their brother maybe made someone upset and they were like, oh, that guy's the Zodiac. Oh, wow. So you have to go through every single one of those. Right. And it's in multiple jurisdictions, right? So people weren't talking to each other. The police definitely weren't talking to each other. So it just made it really unsolvable for the time, which is sad because I think it's completely solvable today.
Yeah.
So my big reveal, I think Robert Graysmith is the Zodiac killer.
The author.
Because listen, he's at the San Francisco Chronicle when this comes in. If the Zodiac killer's #1 get off, like fucking arousal, is to have people read his words, he wrote a whole book. It's the #1 best-selling of the Zodiac killer.
Whoa.
Well, how old is he?
He was there. He was old enough. He was working at the newspaper when the letter started. We hate it.
We maybe think it's true.
I think it's definitely true.
Well, police, you heard it here first.
That's not good, pod.
Graysmith, if it's you, confess. I need to know. And then he's also going to say Arthur Lee Allen is one. He's just putting someone up for ransom there with no actual evidence. Deflection. Anyways, listen, you guys, this is crazy. We're never going to solve the Zodiac killer in this episode. But in our lifetimes, possibly. This has been the best episode of my entire life.
It's been so much fun.
I think it's the 50th.
It's the 50th.
Is that why this cake is
What?
here?
The cake? Guys, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
You sit tight. We're going to have the rest of the people come on for the party.
Yeah.
And we'll be back in approximately 2 seconds.
Party.
2 seconds.
1, 2.
Yay.
Shuffle in, shuffle in.
Okay.
Okay,
Are you ready?
listen.
Does anyone want to sit? There's more room. There can be more room.
Where?
You can sit there, yeah.
Yay!
Okay.
Cute. Let me take
We're
this
so
one.
cute.
Thank you.
Do we
Okay,
want this mic back
before
there,
we
or is it
go,
okay?
It's good on the table.
Well, I'm doing quite the squat.
You're talking to the people. Sorry. Okay.
before we wrap this episode up and we go, I want to say the biggest shout out. Thank you so much to this space. This has been the most incredible experience of my entire life. I am truly, genuinely grateful forever. Thank you again, Mark Chinook, Martian Entertainment, Andrew Kirkin, Video Technical Director, Sierra Nagel, Dylan Domingo, and all my friends, Efren, Armando, Diamond, Jordan, I almost forgot your name, Emma, Sierra, me, Ashley. Thank you guys all so fucking... Corey, goddamn motherfucking Davis.
Yes.
We love you all
space
so
misses
much.
you.
The space misses you.
We miss you.
Follow us on Instagram, That's Not Good Pod. Give us your fucking information. Send me an email. I want to read your stories. That's Not Good Pod @gmail.com. And fucking thank you guys for being here.
Also, if you're the Zodiac killer, just let us know.
Please.
Just tell me.
Get in the
That would be huge for this podcast.
Come on this podcast.
Not for anyone else. Not for the victims, not for anyone else.
No,
It would be for
For Jordan. All right, we love you, and that's not good.
I gotta go eat dumplings.